All right. Grateful, grateful. Let's erase this. You are a tiny, expansive everything without form. But we are, because of the process of the collective unconscious programming, it's not nefarious, it's just what it is. We have become accustomed over generations to a standard of living within the ego and defensiveness and fear and protection, all for the desire of safety, because collective unconscious is a repetition of fear. It doesn't have to be, it's just what it has been for a while. And we are now, some of us now are growing past that. And so there's a requirement to support the ego and allow it to be instead of living within it. And living within it means living within the body only. And if you do that long enough, it becomes a habit and you forget that you are something else. You forget who you are. This place is magic, but this place is tricky because it takes away your memory. And so let me go over this real quick. Mind boxes. You can see that you have to continually open and release mind boxes by addressing your own fear, and then you bump into a new one, and you release that one. You keep going, keep going. This is the creative generative principle, which is the spark of everything. Kind of hard to see, probably. It's the dot of masculine spark inside the feminine womb or holding space, which is attention. And then this is intention. Intention derives from your heart. It's a giving of your heart. Your heart is the prism of your soul. The holding space is the feminine energy. And when the two come together, they connect and they release light from vibration and intention, which is the word. And that creates friction. Friction is the action in your body here. So you start with the true self of you, which is the dot. The true self of you is a limitless, tiny, expansive, formless fraction of all creation, of that which we most call God. You are that, and this is of this magical realm as a gift to that essence of you so that you can interact with this magical place. And so we end up becoming more identified with our body, and everybody else around us does too. So if we don't, we feel weird. So everybody is middling themselves to make everyone else comfortable who's middling themselves, which is all unconscious, and then becomes part of the lower unconscious. And through that process, we solidify ourselves in our body and our habits. And then it's damn near impossible to get out of that because we try to get out of it by being in it. You can't do that. You got to get out of it by going and separating from it. The same way you get out of it by separating from collective unconscious or the social pools. There's a requirement for rites of passage in life, which nearly everyone has lost. And time is nothing, but let's say the last 200 years. So heart is the intention, mind is the attention. Heart first, one always, which is one of the great tricks of this life. I'm not saying this even on purpose, but everybody is insinuating to themselves and to others that there's ways to figure things out and work harder and do better by using your mind. But your mind is literally a connection point between your consciousness, which is the story of your growth as the essence of spirit, and the field of all, the mind of all. And so your mind is in that manner the egoic form of it. This is the essence form of it, which is the true self of you. But it's attached to the egoic form, and the egoic form is attached to the field of all. There's data information coming in and out in a highway portal constantly, constantly. And most people call that thoughts, ideas, and epiphanies, but it's not thoughts. It's not ideas. It's not epiphanies. Thoughts are when you're focused on something and you're thinking about it. Ideas are coming to you after you've been thinking about it. An idea is a new thing to you. An epiphany is something you weren't even thinking about. You stopped for a minute and something emerged to you, what people call downloads. So when people say a lot of spiritual leaders are just people trying to fix their minds and say your thoughts are not you, you don't pay attention to every thought. That's good. That's true. It's just a process of growing and thinking. But the vast majority of what's going on in your highway portal is not even close to being a thought. It's just information going back and forth based on what your body has absorbed in vibration through the process of this life. And most have forgotten that they are this magical dust essence, who they really are, and are truly limitless. They're like, I'm limitless spirit, but spirit still means like a big form. You're this tiny little fragment of what could be and what is truly expansive and limitless in every manner. So this is a toroid field. Toroid field is showing the energy flow of the real you and the multiple body forms that we have. I could draw that. And the real you is then holding vibration, and that vibration is going through your body forms. And those body form vibrations are then connecting with the frequency that's already here. And by connecting with that frequency that's already here, we're then creating, depending on the vibration, how big our aura gets, our aura becomes our resonance. And see this number represents letter, letter represents symbol, symbol represents intent, intent represents resonance. Everything is an attempt to communicate resonance from one resonance to another. When we are in the ambiance of others, unless we've raised ourselves to a place of great awareness and we're holding that, we almost always dumb ourselves down to the comfort or the antagonistic position of what someone else expects of us and what their resonance will allow us to be, and then what we expect of them and what we allow their resonance to be. Which is why some people and families, is part of why some people and families are always in the same routine. They're in a rut of whatever, or friends, or some people always do a certain thing with their social anxiety or their drinking or whatever. It's because that is of their resonance. What they are in their belief structure, way down here in their core belief structure, in their lower unconscious, what they are expecting. And that's based on their vibration. So maybe I went a little too far there. Okay, singular one love is the soul energy of creation of everything, that which most call God, but in my opinion, it's got to be much greater than what the definitions of God are. Creative generative principle is represented by this dot in a circle. The creative generative principle is the representation of the form and the process, the three-step process for all creation, which is us and which is how everything functions, and which is also how that singular one love has carved a process from just itself, before itself, into form. Divine limitless spirit energy. So creative generative principle is basically a tool in all dimensions. Divine limitless spirit energy is the term for you. You are truly a magical, limitless, fractal dust of singular one love. And you operate as this through the creative generative principle. And if you do it consciously with awareness, then you are operating in limitless abundance. But when you do it unconsciously and from an embodied perspective, then you're doing it within a limited duality. So everything here is limited, which is great, provides feedback. But just like we require a ego to learn as a young embodied spirit body toddler here, but we then become infants forever because we don't grow past that, because we don't want to be ostracized by this group around us who are grown-up infants. We don't want to make anybody else uncomfortable. So it goes back to that middling ourselves to make everyone else comfortable who's middling themselves. Consciousness and story. So this is a picture of consciousness. Super consciousness, self-consciousness, unconsciousness, lower unconsciousness, subconsciousness. Subconsciousness is pulling the energy and the habitual imprints through this old oak tree and the root system and the subconscious womb of water below, and is projecting the ones that happen to be proper for that time out through the third eye, and you are basically right there in the pineal gland. Sends out unique pattern of frequencies imprinting upon this realm's energy, which reflects the frequency patterns back to your perspective via events effects. So this is the creation process that you're always doing, from the superconscious to the self-conscious, the unconscious, the lower unconscious, which is where our belief structure is, our book of belief of ourself, which is the one thing that nearly everyone can't quite touch in therapy or with drugs or with drinking or sex, or they're working hard enough, whatever. They get to the end, they become a billionaire, they're like, something's still not quite right. It's your belief structure. It's your book of belief that has been imprinted upon you by the lady that gave you the rocks and your astrology or whatever it was when you came here, and that held your personality. And then the effects of this place, so this place is effectual, and that became embodied as part of you being embodied, and that became habit. You can't figure out a way, even though you change your habits, to go back and change the habit that's recurring within. And that recurring within is truly just a requirement to go back into you, but it's in the lower unconscious, it's in the deep root system. So it's really hard to clean out, it's really hard to get in there. There's so much like requirement to deprogram. And I went through that. I did all this myself. The everybody has their own process, so it's no judgment at all. But what I found is a much greater process of growth is to write more in your story than try to go back and scratch out every single word. Just look at it as a journal. This is the journal of my life, and it seems like it was fucked up. But if you write a much greater life, much greater belief system, keep expanding and releasing these mind boxes, then that first story, which seems extremely traumatic, all your programming, all your belief, you just keep writing it into more and more and more volumes until eventually there's basically no trauma in there except for the memory that there was trauma, which then transmuted into an empowerment. So you can now identify and guide others that have some type of trauma. So that thing which is in here, if it feels like it's holding you back and you're not sure how to put your finger on it, just make that your prologue of life. You got it. But you can't do that by identifying with the body and the ego. The ego is a safety net. Fight, flight, hide. Put a little button next to fight, flight, hide within yourself and say, here's a chance for you to start pressing the button of chill. I got it. I can handle it. Tell your ego that. Make friends with your ego instead of fighting it. You can't fucking fight a thing that's always trying to fight to save you. So, fleur de lis is representing the same energy flow. You can see this in a lot of patterns. It's basically nearly every pattern is energy flow. Number represents letter, letter represents symbol, symbol pattern. Geometric, sacred geometry, whatever. Everybody thinks that's like the key to life. No, it's just a symbol because this place is magic that's telling you, hint, hint, look, look at energy, look more. Like, what are the pyramids? They're so obviously uh, magnifiers of energy. Everything is energy. God, singular one love. It cannot not be energy. Everything is energy. It doesn't mean it's an atom. It's everything is energy. So the real you, that dot, that essence of you is energy. Say the real you is like right here. But it's so tiny you'll never ever ever be able to see it. And then say that it is sitting here being the real you the whole time, and you are just forgetting and you're just operating in this thing the whole time. And all you have to do is just meditate and sit for a second to go back and look at this dot and be like, oh, that's me. And in meditation, you can get back to being the dot. And then when you get back to being the dot, then you can give dictation to this place. But this is the key. This is where everybody, not everybody, obviously, there's a lot that are much more enlightened than I, but this is where the vast majority, nearly everyone within a social program, is caught to a certain degree. Just a moment. So this place, the way it's built, the way it functions, you are creating everything. Yes, you are greater than everything, or than everything that is aware here. Yes, but you are of the creation of everything. And so this place is already here. And you are embodied, fractalized. This place is watching you all the time. But this place, your body comes of this place. So, like the creation of all, what most call God, this singular one love, is possibly providing energy and then attention to the real you over here, that dust. Then this place is providing attention and energy to its creation, which is your body. And you as dust go back to the original source. And your body goes back to this place. I don't care if you go to whatever, Beetlejuice or Cygnus, Deneb, uh, Aldebaran, any star, anywhere, if you can physically go there, which I'm not sure about that, but it doesn't matter. Your body is still going back to this realm of creation. And so this place is always watching you. not in a spying way. This place is always watching you because you hold the divine, limitless spirit energy, that magical essence of dust of the creation, of the creator, which is also you. You are the creator. You hold that. And so you have forgotten how amazing and incredible and limitless and perfect you are, but this place hasn't. And this place was made by the same thing, and therefore it's always watching you. Now, I know, say, Anunnaki or Lemuria and all this stuff, none of that negates what I'm saying. There is a state of creation that is of singular one love, period. It cannot not be. And then here and anywhere else, nothing is impossible. The only thing that's impossible is actually for something to be impossible. But when we identify with the body, which is of this place, then we're identifying with the duality, which is what gives us the feedback of this place. So as this place is watching us, this realm is watching us, watching you as an individual, or not individual, that means corporation basically, but as an embodiment, then when we are identified with just our body and our personality and our ego, none of that is good or bad, then we are identifying with the rules of the feedback mechanism of this place, which again, not good or bad. It's just how it is. And so what's flowing in us and through us in this conscious level and then subconsciously is projected out, sends out unique pattern of frequencies, imprinting upon the realm's energy, which reflects the frequency patterns back to your perspective via event effects. Then this place is sending back to us the exact awareness so that we can either make an adjustment, embrace it, or wake the fuck up. It's telling you what you're doing inside of you. And so here's what I was getting at. If you would like to control your life, you can't do it from here because it's out of order. Just like this is out of order, everybody goes to mind first and then they get reactions. They get reactions from their belly, they go straight to their mind, and then they're just everything's fear and safety, fear and safety, fear and even if they're the most gentle old woman or the most domineering alpha male personality, it doesn't matter. Everybody fucking does that. Why do they do that? It's reaction because this place is feeding it to you. And you haven't learned a better way. Straight to mind. Mind will figure it out. Mind wasn't made for that. That's not what it was made for. It was made to take a direction and then create. And the body was made to create through the process of dictation from the mind. The mind must be dictated to, so it must derive from the heart's intention. The heart is the prism of your soul. It will tell you where to go with a singular purpose. You must start with your heart, then dictate to your mind, intention, attention, hold on the same thing, and then apply the friction of your body all towards that one thing. And then you can do anything. So that's the embodied process. What most people are doing here is trying to, even with their manifestation or anything, they're trying on whatever level they're attempting to, even in meditation, take the them, the personality, when you're 6 or 7 years old, your skull closes up, and then it's like, whoop, I'm me now. Instead of the connection of it's us, it's me and source, it's me and love, it's all, we are all one. We're like, this is my personality, this is, and so we carry that on, and then even when we're trying to manifest, even when we're trying to create in our job, even when we're trying to raise our family, even when we're trying to meditate, anything we're doing, we're trying to hit a baseball better. We're trying to do it as ourself. And so we're always trying to overcompensate for something. And so we're trying to also, if we're attempting to manifest, dictate to this place from a place of being basically a baby to a grandparent. There's no way a grandparent will ever take the baby's direction. Like there's no scenario. The only thing the baby can do is cry and try to ask for help. That's what ends up happening. Even in most of our prayers, kind of just asking for help. You don't need any help for anything, ever. If you remember that you are this dust, then you're separate from this. So you go over here and you start, just as this is a requirement of a process to start with the heart. Start with the heart and then dictate from the heart what is given to you in meditation from the heart. Then dictate that to your mind and have the self-conscious. So superconscious will speak to your heart. The self-conscious determination, conviction, strength, belief in self. So here, to use the attention of the mind and hold it on the intention of the heart. And then you do it enough times, it becomes unconscious, and you apply friction to that, and you receive feedback from it in this place, and you keep doing that with a singular focus. And then this place literally creates it for you as you go toward it, because you're magnetizing yourself toward it. And the heart is the greatest magnet. Then the whole process becomes unconscious. It's easy. To override the unconscious, you must do it through self-consciousness. To override the lower unconscious, which is where your book of belief derives or lives, then you must do it with super consciousness. And then that seeps into your subconscious, which is projecting out. This is how everything is functioning all the time, everywhere. And so we tend to attempt to manipulate things and then feel somewhat victimized because we are identifying with our body, which is already limited because it is of the duality of this place first. That is incorrect. The first step must be remember who you are. But you can just say that. You can be like, divine limitless spirit energy, said before. And then, so what? Okay, yeah, I'm not this place. I'm bigger than this place. I get it. But then when I actually want to go do the thing, go change my life, I love the abundance of my life. I can say that a million times from the embodiment perspective. And it's like, okay, that's the story that I'm holding, but I'm also, it's just in my hand. I'm also still in the body. So I am still subordinate to this place which created the body. But if I am recalling and then super consciously identifying with the essence of who I truly am, which is this dot that's so small that nobody can ever see it, and it's limitless, and it's expansive, bigger than all universes, and it is of singular one love, and it's who I really, really, really am beyond my dreams. When I close everything off, and I whoop, whoop, that dot, not on the board somewhere, this dot, whatever is on the tip. The dot of you, that magical dust essence that is the tiniest thing that could ever exist, that is you. So go identify with that. It's over here. And now, as that, I love the abundance of my life. I love the abundance of my life. I am the love and abundance of my life. Over here. And then from there, you dictate to this place. That's the proper order. And then from there, you hold that. Not in hoping, not in anger, not in you better figure this out for me now. Just in gnosis. I am this thing. I'm dictating to this place. And I know it. And then this place dictates to you. So that's the proper order. You identify with yourself as that spark. And then you dictate to this place. And then this place, with you holding the identification of the real you as the essence of the spark of singular one love, dictating to this place, you hold it, and then this place will send that to your embodiment. And you dictate from that same place to your embodiment and have your embodiment walk toward that which you're sending out. So you over here are sending out to this place first, and then you're sending to your body, go toward that. That's what you do. And from that process, you giving that directive, the real you, giving that directive to this place, it is created. And then forcing this you to walk toward that, then this you is magnetized to it. That's how it works. To listen to this spark, to listen to the real you, go into your heart. Your heart is synonymous with your super consciousness. It's not the same thing, but it's parallel to it. Don't try to fix things from your body. That is the perfect way to do it until you're like 10, 12 years old. Honestly, until you're like 7 years old. And then practice figuring out how to do it in a greater method. And there probably, generations from now, there's probably a much, much greater method, or 100,000 years ago, there's probably a much, much greater method. But from what I'm aware of, you sit as the real you. You dictate to this place, and then you dictate to this body. You identify with the body, you identify with the limits of this place, which is fine. That's great. That's what makes it fun. But then you can't get anything done. And there's only one way to do it. It's got to dig holes. It's all good. I like gardening. But it's not the process of creation. Or it's a representation of the process of creation, but it's in a dualistic physical form. If you want to do it in the greatest possible manner that I'm aware of, you identify with the spark of you, the essence of you. You dictate to this place because this place is watching and listening to you. But if you don't have access to you and you just are stuck in here, then this place watches you in here. And what's that? What is that? Be honest with yourself. If it's duality, what's the poles? It's love and fear. Everything here is the essence of love and fear. But within the essence of love here is the singular one love. And within the essence of fear here is the singular one love. This isn't like a pacifist, nihilistic point of view. It's just that's what it is. Most don't want to get all the way to the end and be like, oh, it's kind of obvious. Because they've been trained to think it's crazy, crazy, impossibly complicated. Well, it's way bigger than we can probably imagine to a certain degree, but I'm not sure it's that complicated actually. Just may be that the social programs within the collective unconscious maybe didn't provide the proper information. And so there's a lot of improper information going back and forth in that highway, and we're not even really thinking about it. We're just allowing it to come in, and then the more it comes in, the more it seeps into our unconscious, Then the more it eventually seeps into our subconscious and we project it into our actual reality and make it real. Try separating completely, not with all the emotions, not with all the feelings, not with all the hopes. Just try to do it in a it's okay. It's okay. You're a magical dust, limitless energy. Dictate to this place one thing, not 500 things are all connected together, not this huge empire. One thing. And then, with the entirety of your heart opened up in your super conscious state, you as that magical dust, that limitless energy, that tiny, tiny thing that can expand beyond anything ever, dictate to your body, in your heart, that same one thing. And then make yourself as body, because you're the general of this body, make yourself as body walk toward that thing you dictated. And then see what happens. I don't think it's more than just repeating that, honestly. And everything you've ever wanted is here now. But to create the awareness and this living embodiment that you are perfection, that you are all of life, that you are the love of everything, then it doesn't make sense to do it from a place of limited perspective to begin with. So if you're starting from a place of embodiment and trying to get out of that, then, and practice is part of it, so it's okay. But that seems to me like running on a treadmill and thinking that you're going to get somewhere, get to a new location. You might need to find it within yourself to just breathe and go sit in nature and let everything go. And the more you do that, the more you can unconsciously identify more with your superconscious instead of all this stuff coming in here. Just let it go for a second. And the more space you make for that inside, the more your brilliant light, vibration, word, creation of the spark of you, the essence of who you truly are, that tiny little dust particle, has an opportunity to show itself to you. And the more it can show itself to you, the more you can stop reacting to the shit in this duality. And then the more you don't react to it, the more it's not even really shit. It's just feedback to show you as the particle what to dictate to you as the embodiment of where it is. It's a better way for us to go because we do have purpose. There isn't necessarily a fixed meaning here, but there is a purpose for you, short term and long term. But it's inside you. And you don't get to that from here. That's not what this thing is built for. It's not built to be the one thing for everything. It's built to create in a step 2 of a 3-step process. This isn't built to create everything. This is built to be basically a portal of greater energy. So you start here, you put the information from here, you hold the attention of this amazing magnifier on the intention that you received here. Sorry for the kittens. And then you act with this thing. You walk directly toward it. It's the same process. So just consider the spark of you as your heart. Do that first. And then this place as the mind. Do that. And then the embodiment of you as the friction. The third thing. Identify with the spark of you. Give directive to this place with all of you. Stop begging. Don't think about anybody else, first of all. Because the them that you're thinking of is existing only within the reverberations of what your resonance is allowing them to be in your own mind. It's not even them. Fuck it. You are divine spark. Identify with that by going in nature and breathing. And then giving directive to this place. And then giving directive to this embodiment. And that's how you become limitless. I love you. Primum Voltus Interiorum.